Something that's been really surprising to me about riding an e-bike over a traditional bike has been the frequency in which I need to perform basic maintenance. It does really make sense though, because the e-bike is a lot heavier, it goes a lot faster than a regular bike, and so components like the tires and the brakes and even the chain, they all wear down a bit faster and need more attention. So my brakes were super squeaky and feeling really soft for a while. Today I'm going to show you how I changed the brake pads on my Rad Runner 2. Transparently, these brakes were way overdue and had kind of been bad for a long time, and these pads were kind of a necessity. Okay, so here's what we're going to need for today's project. We are going to need a piece of paper to help us see the alignment of the calipers. We're going to be using our 5mm Allen key. We use that for a lot of things on this bike. We're going to need a flathead screwdriver. That's going to help us reset the cotter pin. And we are also going to need a new cotter pin right here. We're also going to need some needle nose pliers and a flashlight to help us see. Lastly, we also have our new brake pads. I'm using the TekTro 10.11. So what I'm doing here is checking the tension on the brake lever. I know these pads are really worn down, but I wanted to show you how to check. Simply pull the brake lever and it should stop about 2 fingers from the grip. As you can see here, this is way too much of a gap. The front wheel is really easy to take off because of the quick release. Of course, that means that someday my wheel is probably going to get stolen, but we can talk about that at a later date. Okay, now that we have the wheel clear, we are going to just remove the brake pads. So, brake pads up in here, come around the back, and we are going to pull this cotter pin. So, I'm going to use my Phillips head screwdriver to kind of press this tab back as much as I can with that. And then we're just going to slip it out by grabbing it here and pulling. Just pulling on that. Yeah, great. I'm just going to press the 2 plates out from the back, kind of work that out a little bit. It helps if you can use your 5mm to release this caliper tensioner, and just kind of and then you got this little spring as well. This guy is really worn out. Okay, so let's take a look at the new brake pad and spring configuration. So there is this spring that comes with the brake pads. And then you've got 2 brake pads, one for each side of the rotor. And basically you want to slip the pad around these little, I don't know, fingers or teeth on each side. And then you're just going to press them together like a little sandwich. And we're just going to try to slip it in there. Boom. Great. See, that comes all the way to the back. And then you should use a new cotter pin. This is the old one because I left my cotter pins at the shop, so I'm going to go get one after we're done with this video and replace it. But you should definitely use a new one. But it's going to just slip right back in there. Cool. Needle nose pliers. Bend that back into place. See, now using an old one, this is going to get worn, and that's why we want a new one. And now, all set. New brake pad. In there. We're going to put the wheel back on, adjust the caliper alignment, and the tension again. Okay, so we're going to put this wheel in, and we want to slip that rotor blade in between our brake pads as we do this. Boom. All right. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of pulling down on this guy, getting everything nice and snug. Great, cool. So that looks pretty good. There we go. So this should sit inside these little grooves. I'm gonna bring this over here and show you. We want this piece to kind of sit flush as we tighten it up. So we just give it a couple of twists. And then we're kind of feeling for like it should be hard but not impossible to lock this guy down. That's probably pretty good. And we're going to get it pressed all the way down. Great, cool. Let's give it a check to make sure it's spinning freely. There's a little rubbing there. I don't like that. It's rubbing. So we're going to do it again. Loosen that. And kind of press up on the other side. That feels better. I'm going to give it a little free play. Tighten that down. Oh yeah, feels good. No rubbing. Sounds great. Now we're going to tighten up the tension and align the calipers. Okay, so we're trying to just kind of make sure that there is equal space between both of those brake pads. This is really tough to see and very annoying, so I'm going to try and get the flashlight in there to show you too. So it looks like we need to press in this side quite a bit more. So that's what we're going to do now. So one of the reasons why I like these nice long ones is that this can be tough to get to from the side. But what I can do is come around from the other side. And I'm just going to keep turning it. And it clicks at stages until the distance looks about even. And that looks right there. Okay, so now we are going to adjust the tension on our brake line. And to do that, we're going to take our 15mm Allen key. We're going to turn this guy just enough so that this becomes loose, so we've got some play. This slides along this cable without the cable moving. We're just going to kind of pinch here and here, tug that cable, and then tighten it back down. Just hand tight is good. Boop. All right, and we're going to check the play on the lever. All right, so let's check that play on the lever now. It's going all the way. See, we're getting tension right about there. It's about 2 fingers. Nailed it. So how often should you replace the brake pads and adjust the tension? That's a really great question. And without an odometer, it's hard to gauge. But generally, recommendations are about every 6 months. So basically, spring and fall. But with brakes, you also need to go by feel. If the lever is feeling soft, check the pads. If you are looking light on material, replace them. I suggest just ordering a few extra pads in advance, so you're not waiting on them to arrive before changing them. So in my last video, I said that I kind of hate a lot of e-bike channels out there, but I recently became a big fan of a channel called Shifter. It's about urban cycling as a whole, and I really appreciate his content about winter biking as I'm trying to bike through the winter as well. So check him out. He's also got a book all about riding in the winter. I'm thinking my next topic is probably going to be replacing an inner tube on this bike. I got a flat last week on the rear wheel, and I've ordered the parts, and I'm trying to figure out for myself what to do, and we'll make some content kind of guiding you along my journey. Super thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about the bike in the comments. I'm not an expert, but I'm just trying to share kind of my experiences with riding an e-bike as a daily commuter.